All right, out there, all. We are doing something a bit different with this video today. We're doing a test of the old Zoom setup that everyone else seems to be using. It's the flavor of the month, quote unquote. And so we're giving this a go and seeing what happens. We do have a topic in mind, but first of all, I'm Andrew. Introduce yourselves, boys.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Jimmy. How you going?
This is going to be flawless. As you can tell, we are complete professionals. No, we're not.
And very, very loose.
Yeah, this is going to be rough as guts. Yeah. So I think, well, Brendan had a good idea when we were chatting beforehand, just about, I guess, a way we can start off this conversation, which we'll get into the meat of this very soon. But I guess, as I've been mentioning on TV of late, there's been the whole Channel 31 and Channel 44 community TV in Australia is effectively going to be shut down as of June 30 for television broadcast purposes, unless we get another last-minute reprieve. Like I think the last time we got it was 2 days before or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
And as far as I'm aware, the government haven't even been engaging in conversation, so it's all looking a bit shaky at the moment. I don't know how it's going to go, but whatever. But what do you guys think of that? Let's get a different opinion apart from me talking every week on the show.
Yeah, I've been following it loosely because obviously, like, I'm not on the show, full time anymore, but I do keep in with what's going on. And yeah, that's one of the things that surprised me is they announced it a couple of months ago now that it was all going to close up.
Yeah,
a month or so.
Yeah, a couple of months ago.
And then last time that happened, like you said, it did go berserk. There was the whole petition thing and everyone was, jumping on board. And this time that hasn't happened yet. And that concerns me because we're getting closer and closer to June 30.
It's not far
and
away.
nothing seems to have sort of popped up yet. So I hope it does because, fucking hell, we all know how important it is. It should stay.
It should. Especially
the priorities at the moment, though, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
As it gets closer and as the news cycle will change, and it will.
Yeah.
But it's dominated by one topic only as we sit here on whatever it is.
Well, there's a reason why.
April 9, 10, something like that, as we sit here.
At the moment, as we do this. Yeah.
Yeah, there is only one topic on the news, really, or things related to. So, it'd be funny if the window starts to open up as we get closer to June 30 and maybe the conversation will start again, but it really doesn't seem to be a priority, and maybe it shouldn't be a priority right now, but
probably not.
At the same time, I'd still hate to see it die.
Yeah. Well, it's an fix, though. It's not costing anyone anything, so just let it happen. Like, it doesn't drain anything from the government. The government don't pay for it at all. There's the actual TV stations paid for licenses and things like that to allow them to broadcast. They're not able to make as much money as the other standalone TV stations like 7, 9, 10 and that are, because they are obviously commercial networks and they can make a shitload of money, whereas community TV has some pretty harsh restrictions on it because it's community access as a program or platform, I should say.
And the only way that community TV makes its money, Andrew, is from advertising, yeah?
Sponsored slots, yeah, which is limited in scope. So, like, you can't, like, on Channel 10, like, you got the morning breakfast TV shows, and they've got the infomercials on the broadcast, that kind of stuff. You can't even do that. So it's literally just about the 15 to 30 second advertising slots that can get in there, and even that there's restrictions on what sort of can and can't go through to the keeper. So it's a bit of a game.
And Andrew, tell all the viewers out there how much we're paid to be on community TV, man.
Not a fucking cent. So just let's put that on the record. Let's put that on the record. We don't get paid. We don't get paid.
I'm going to ask that question a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much do you get paid for that? I'm like, are you kidding me? It costs me money.
It costs a fair bit of time and effort, if nothing else. That involves obviously money, time and effort.
So to all you people out there that think we get paid and we're all loaded from working on community TV, you're fucking wrong. Doesn't happen.
Get the same you get for playing in a rock and roll band.
Yeah, well, pretty much. It's the same deal at the moment, isn't it? So original TV, original music, it's all in the same fucking boat. Unless you're Scotty Cam who can get a government contract to do sweet fuck all.
Yes, he's done very well.
Yeah, he's done well out of that, hasn't he? Fucking hell.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Just wanted to clear.
You want to clear it up, did you?
Yeah.
No, it's
Because we get asked all the time.
I know.
Dude, it's weird.
I've been
It
asked
is a common question.
Yeah, I've only been asked like twice. I've never
No.
like you guys all tell me about it a lot more than I actually experience it.
No, if
Yeah.
anyone's ever recognised you from being on telly, like, so do you get money for that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mate, we got paid a full-time wage to do that stupidity every week. Fuck, we'd be on easy street. That'd be
Life would be pretty good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
oh, mate, if you're living the dream and then some. But yes. Well, speaking of networks and history, and good and bad, we have a certain history with a certain commercial radio station on the Hard Rock Show. They don't like us very much, and recent events have transpired to probably bury that axe a bit harder into the spine of things. So I think what we should do is give everyone a bit of a background. So Brendan, you put out a tweet, this has all happened over Twitter. So if you're not following us all on Twitter, you should. I'm the Hard Rock Show. Jimmy, you are?
Jimmy Vanzino. Oh, no, I think I'm Vanzino, Jimmy. I don't know.
I think you are. And Brendan, you are?
What am I? BJ Z-Man.
That's it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
BJ Z-Man.
What I'll do is I'll try and put your handles up on the screen or something as we do this in post production if I can be fucked doing that.
Where did BJ Z-Man come from?
Well, my nickname, because I'm Brendan Johnson. My nickname used to be BJ, and when I got a Harley, I had a personalised plate. It was BJZ, BJ's. So that's where BJ Z-Man came from. So there you go.
I'm going to call you BJ.
It does now, doesn't it?
Can I call you BJ from now on?
Please don't.
I know how much you love that one, Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
One of your favourites.
Makes me feel like I should be wearing a cap with a fucking propeller on it.
We have one of them kicking around at the set for ages.
Yeah, no. So we got anyway. Let's not. We'll move on to hats.
Yeah, we've been through that literally.
So the background of what happened, and this is not a big deal, and it's not to be fucking overblown, but I stupidly got excited. I drive currently driving an old piece of shit Hilux, which only has radio and a tape player. So Triple M is basically the station that makes me vomit the least, which is saying something. So, listen to Triple M every morning, and as this fucking coronavirus thing was starting up, they were talking about actually having local bands live at Eddie's desk. So there's this Eddie Darcy thing, and Eddie's funny like this because he's a guy that is so completely out of touch with the common man kind of thing, but he came up with this idea, they should bring the local bands in and have them playing at Eddie's desk. And I'm thinking, fuck, maybe, just maybe,
they might do
something will come of this. I thought, this is a really, really good little initiative. And then, things progress. So like a week later, obviously coronavirus thing up ramp. And getting local bands to play at Eddie's desk is not feasible. And I'm thinking, well, okay, play a song. If you're willing to commit that time to bring a band in to play, surely you can play a song. Like one song every morning of a local band. And I thought, what a bloody good initiative that would actually be, because it's the run-on effect. It's not only the support for the band, but then, once we come out the other end of this, people might go see that band. So it's a run-on for the bars. It's a run-on for this. It's good for Melbourne. It's good for the city. And I'm thinking, shit, they're onto something here. And I thought, what a really good initiative. And Eddie's fucking frustrating like that for me, because he claims to be all about Melbourne and all this shit. And I'm an Eddie fan, and I'm not, not for the Collingwood thing or anything like that, but I think Eddie has built himself to be something that's actually pretty bloody good.
Does a good job for the most part.
Yeah. He shits people, he shits me from time to time as an expert on everything, and, that winds me up. But I thought, well, hang on, this time, just maybe, because Eddie's got hold of it, I thought maybe that the fucking bobbleheads at fucking Triple M might listen. They obviously didn't, because once the coronavirus hit, the thing died. So I sent a tweet to Triple M Hot Breakfast. So it's aimed at the show. Let's be fucking clear on that.
Yes.
That is relevant. Saying what happened to the idea of supporting local bands. That seemed to be a very short-lived initiative. And look, I know it's Rosie that fucking handles it. I do know that. And I like Rosie. I know Rosie's one of the good guys.
She is one of the good guys.
Like her boyfriend's in a band and she supports local. And there's no doubt that Rosie is one of the good guys. But she's come back trying to sort of defend their position, which, to be honest, shit me. You know, they're saying, oh, well, we've had, Buggerlugs from Music Victoria, and we had buddy Paul Dempsey on singing. So I'm like, fucking Paul Dempsey's been a professional musician for 20 years. That's hardly given people a leg up. You know, like, come on. And nothing against Paul Dempsey. And to be honest, that song is actually pretty outstanding. Go listen to it. It is good.
Yeah. He's great.
So, you know, I bit back and I went, okay, well, how about all these bands? You know, if you're willing to give that time, one of these bands, one song per day or even a week would not be unreasonable.
Yeah.
And again, you know, they come back with the diatribe, well, it's more important to be, you know, be informing people about the, you know, the coronavirus and stuff at the moment than it would be to, you know, be playing local bands. And I'm like, when I lose my nana, and say, well, you're happy to shoehorn fucking Foo Fighters and U2 in every fucking morning. Don't give me this horse shit about, you know, your public responsibility. It pissed me off. Of course, then Jimmy comes in with a huge overhand left.
So stupidly
it kind of derailed from there because it was quite civil until that point.
Oh, yeah. But this is nothing new though. There is a bit of form here.
So I saw. I logged on to Twitter and I saw the tweet. I read the tweet and I read what Brendan had said. And I thought, yep, he's onto a good thing here. This is really good. And then I stupidly involved myself in it. And then that was it from there. So I probably shouldn't have involved myself in it to begin with because I've tried to stay away from talking about anything to do with Triple M for a couple of years now.
We've toned down our conversation about that a fair bit over the last
because I don't really see the point anymore in talking about it. But, you know, Brendan's a mate and I thought that the idea that he had, you know, and what he was saying made perfect sense. But you're right, I did come in over the top, a la Wrestle style with the top thing, with the photo. And
it's just a great photo.
One of the best.
It didn't go down very well. No.
But then Rosie decides to take it personally, and then she took it away from the Triple M Hot Breakfast Days because Rosie's name had never been mentioned. Because again, she's one of the good guys. We all know that. Yeah, the work she used to do with Higo, with that New Rock at Night, and all that kind of stuff. They were doing really good stuff, and I liked it. I wish it was still going on to that level. It's not. You know, they've actually broadened. They've gone more national, which actually makes it worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because more Triple M shows are national now, which completely takes away from the local thing, which is why Hot Breakfast is quite unique. Which is why for a moment there, I got excited. I was sucked into their story. I thought they were actually going to have a crack and try something here. They didn't. The idea was good, but it washes over them because they get swept up in other crap. But they actually, they were onto something that could have helped and could have helped a hell of a lot of people. And not just the bands. We're talking about the venues. We're talking about the bars. We're talking about the general population as a whole.
Good for morale.
They were onto something.
Because the entire arts community is feeling this. Like they're all talking about sport every fucking minute of the day and how much that's impacted. I reckon the arts industry has been more impacted than the sporting industry has been because there's at least a bailout for the sports. There's no bailout for the arts.
There's no job keeper. There's none of that shit for guys that are playing in a band.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, that arts, there was a thing put to Parliament, I think it was yesterday, about a package for the art, and it was voted down.
It was.
Yeah. It was really sad.
It was like 29 or 26 or something, but
yeah.
But I mean, look, giving money to the arts is not easy. It's hard to measure. It's hard to divide. I mean, you understand.
Yeah, but just the basic income would be nuts over this next little bit because they can't do anything to earn their money.
Yeah.
Look, commercial radio giving the slightest fuck about the industry would help.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where I'm going to jump in on that one because, for one, Rosie is one of the good guys. Genuinely speaking, she's one of the good guys, but I reckon she's ballsed up here by taking it personally when it was a shot aimed at her employer. It's not her band, it's not her husband or anything like that. It's her employer.
That's right, and
her employer, she's taken it on board personally.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with that photo. You know, when I put it up, I wasn't. There was no personal crack. It was. It was sent. It was sent to Triple M. It wasn't aimed at a person. It was sent to the business, you know. And like, can I just jump in here? Like I was saying to you, Andrew, like I work in a bank. I work in one of the big 4 banks, and the other day we had 170 phone calls into our hardship area, and 15 people there to answer those 170 calls. And some of those people were on hold for 2 hours. So when they got through to speak to somebody that works for the bank, there were a lot of pissed off people, and you know, there was abuse flying left, right, and centre. And it's drilled into us in the business that when that happens, you don't take it personally, because it's not aimed at you personally. It's aimed at the business, not the dude answering the phone or, you know, sending the email. And, you know, that's what's drilled into us. And obviously people take it personally because, you know, you get a phone call when someone goes sick at you, you know, you get your back up. And I understand that, but it's not a personal attack. It's an attack of the business. It's different. There's a big difference. But anyway.
And I think that needs to be clearly understood, because what happened on the flip side is that she's then dragged it across to her personal platform and not use the Triple M platform anymore to then call out Jimmy, which I think is patently stupid, in my opinion. I think that there's nothing to actually be gained by that, and it takes away from the overall conversation. And because she got upset because someone took a shot at her employer, she doesn't get the right to then have a crack at anyone and everyone that doesn't agree with it, or drag it out in that way. I think that's counterproductive to the whole conversation, and trying to make it about you can't tell me how to feel and that sort of stuff. It's not about that. It's a case of you got defensive for your employer, which, hey, that's admirable, that's fine. But just because you take the knobs of Twitter doesn't mean that it's at you, and that you should then act accordingly to being offended by that. If you're offended by that, take it up with your employer and get someone else to take on the fucking handle. That would be my point.
Yeah. I've seen Higo take the same position in the past too, where all of a sudden he gets personally offended and defensive. I'm like, yeah, no one in the scene has ever had a crack at Higo that I've ever heard. You know, because again, one of the good guys, he was trying to do his thing in his own way. He was trying to push the agenda, and it was fucking fantastic for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, well, he got arseholed.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it's a huge frustration of mine. It really pisses me off that they can't dedicate one song a week to this. One song a week is all we're asking. Just don't play Everlong once. That's all we're fucking asking. But kick K-San to the curb once a week. Yeah. You know, like, I'm not saying any of these bands are terrible, like, you know, except Coldplay. But, you know, like, just give us that one slot in fucking drive time a week.
If they're not going to do it now, they're never going to do it.
Yeah, and that's what hurt. Like I said, I genuinely thought they were onto something.
And the thing is, they teased it. Yeah. If they hadn't have said it at all, it'd have been nothing. But they said something and then haven't offered an explanation, then gone doubled down on the defensive of why they haven't done it, which is a complete pile of nonsense. Because I went through certain individuals' personal Facebook and Twitter feeds. I also went through the company's Facebook and Twitter feeds. And in all those things, they did mention the Dempsey one. They repeated that. But there was also other ones about they were sharing different memes. They were sharing stuff about Married at First Sight. They were sharing all this other stuff in this timeline. What, they can't even use their social media to promote a local band? If they're not going to play them on the fucking radio, then at least use the leverage that you've built because you have the radio platform to do some good and share some local songs. Even if you don't want to give them fucking airtime on the radio station itself, share them. If social media now is more important than before, because guess what? That's all we're all fucking doing all goddamn day long. It's not like we have anything else to fucking do at the moment.
Exactly.
So use your social media platform for good. And it doesn't cost you a damn thing. It won't tarnish your impact with advertising at all. It does nothing to your bottom line in any way, shape or form to use a social media, a bunch of ones and zeros in this fucking thing to make something happen. But they're happy to share more sporting than I've fucking seen in my lifetime. Yes, the Corona updates are important. I completely double down on that. I'll back that in 100%.
No one argued that.
No.
Yeah, of course.
You won't even give a shot to a local band. And Triple J are in the same boat as far as I'm concerned when it comes to local bands, at least. If you're not a screamo band or a foodie with an acoustic guitar, you're not going to get a fucking look in. So,
right. Every radio station's in the same boat. The reason we target Triple M is because they are supposedly the rock station.
Mhm.
We are rock fans. You know, that is supposed to be where we go to get our music.
well, yeah.
And you know, to hear Hotel California for the 14,000th fucking time doesn't do any of us any good.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad song. It's a great song.
It is.
Guitar solos, fucking gem. But
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, right. That's right. They haven't supported. Australian music for 25 years.
Well, they'll turn around and they'll say, but we play new stuff at 7 o'clock at night. But you name one person for me that's listening at 7 o'clock at night that's actually the major demographic that's going to go to a gig. Because if they're working at 7 o'clock at night, they're sure as shit not going to go to a gig, so it's not going to matter to them.
Like, name me an Australian rock band that's broken through in the last 20 years.
Because of commercial radio support in this country?
No, at all.
But the thing is that Triple M will claim that they broke Coldplay in Australia.
No, Australian rock band.
I know.
Yeah, that's right. That's good that they did.
Give me an Australian rock band that they have that has broken by anyone in the last 20 years.
They didn't do it.
Silverchair.
Jet? Wolfmother, maybe?
It's Silverchair.
Okay, well, quote unquote, you got the Chats did the most recent one, but they got viral before they went on Triple M.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's right.
And even they're not played on Triple M. They were played like 3 times.
And they did the in-set thing, like live from
Yeah.
for one song.
Which is great.
But it was funny. It was good, but it was a train wreck.
Good on them, but
Oh, yeah, I've got no
they're
problem
not going to
with
play
it.
it.
Yeah. They haven't played the new single, have they?
No. And they play the Violent Femmes from 1984. Like, cool.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a difference. It's and I get the whole classic rock thing, but if you're saying one song a week, it ain't that bloody hard. And they always just tease enough. And this is also from a network that when we organised and got behind the Hey Radio Support Oz Rock campaign, they shut down the way their social media was used and stopped taking phone calls and all that sort of stuff. So they just went completely insular and just shut out any conversation. Instead of engaging in meaningful dialogue, we've offered for them to come onto the show and have a chat and said stipulated there will be no have at it. It's a case of let's have a conversation and let's get to the meat of this. Why is there a problem with this? What can we do to fix it? And
that's right.
They've shut it down every time.
Even the reply to me, which was obviously from Rosie, but you know, the reply from Triple M Breakfast was write a letter to the station. And I can honestly say I have written several letters to the station. I've been part of that fucking music jury doing that bullshit fucking survey for years. And I even went in to one of their bloody focus groups. And I sat there in their studio and said this exact point, that you have to do is this. You know, one song a week. Let someone do even a gig review. Yeah. You know, like anything. And they seemed receptive when I was sitting in the room. I thought, okay, this is interesting. And of course, they said they'd get in touch with me, and nothing.
And the other side of the coin too for me is that if they're so concerned about things like the Melbourne scene, let's talk about the Melbourne scene aside from the bands. Because the Bendigo Hotel have organised a petition to try and get funding through to keep them and other venues afloat. Whole Lot of Love have gone and done this wonderful little thing where you get food packages sent out and you can order alcohol at the same time, and things like that going on. That's in partnership with local grocers and things like that. Fifi Bar have gone and put T-shirts up on sale. Like, there's a heap going on in the scene to try and keep them afloat, and Triple M not even sharing that stuff on social media or talking about that on the radio. But happy to play things like Foo Fighters U2 and talk about fucking Dempsey's new song, which again, no disrespect to anyone in particular, but for 5 minutes of time. And if they try and tell me they're talking to James Young every week, if they still do, is talking to the local scene, fucking wrong. That's one person. That person does not represent the entirety of the scene, no matter how much they want to. So that's, for mine, it all becomes very silly very quickly, and I find it hard to even remotely justify a stand. And again, this is on the back of everything you look at, and the people that are handling the Twitter feed are the same people getting offended, but they're quite happy to go and share a whole bunch of nonsense and engage in fucking memes and shit like this that mean nothing at all, but they won't even do anything to promote a venue suffering or get some bands played or some exposure, which is what they all fucking do it for anyway. Like, there's nothing from the big radio station that did, again, tease something. If they hadn't have teased anything, then nothing would have mattered. No one would have had any expectation. But you set a bar, and then you fucking knock it all down again. And at the hardest time they've all had to experience. Nothing has happened like this to the entertainment industry in this country ever before. And now it's had the floor completely burrowed out from under it. And there's no support from the major, from TV, from radio. It's all independent stuff. Everyone goes, listen to Spotify, or listen to Triple R or PBS and things. Those are great ideas, and don't get me wrong, we'll get into more of that in the short term soon now as well. But I think that it's pretty silly to say that when it's still proven that the market share is still broadly television and especially radio at that time of day that we're talking about when it comes to the breakfast drive.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing is that, like you said, we've asked people from Triple M to come onto the show, right, over the years. And we've been doing, you've been doing this for, nearly 10 years now?
Just about. It's coming up on it, yeah.
Yeah. And, and every time we get rejected. And look, I understand that, sometimes in the past we have come across as, dickheads.
Not just sometimes, more often than not.
Yeah, we've come across as dickheads. But at the same time, I think that, we've given enough to show that we can be mature enough to have a decent conversation with somebody about these kinds of things because we care. We're in the scene and we care. And sometimes that's why we do get fired up, and get volatile.
It's not for clicks and not for likes. We do it because we give a shit.
That's right. And so, all we've wanted for quite a few years now is for someone from Triple M to, come on and just have a mature, level-headed chat about what's going on because people don't know, right? Because it's all kept in this bubble that's up there somewhere that the plebs don't get access to. And, all we've wanted is just a mature conversation, and we're quite happy to have that. But it doesn't happen because we're rejected every time. And sometimes it feels like you're being spoken down to, because we're Triple M and we're the rock station in Melbourne, we're commercial radio and millions of people hear us, and you guys are just plebs that work on a community radio TV show, that no one gives a shit about. Well, that's completely incorrect for a start.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, the viewer numbers and stuff like that, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And, and it feels like a lot of disrespect, towards what we do or what we're trying to do to help the scene and help the bands.
But even
I'm spoken down to by these people.
But a good idea is a good idea. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah.
Good idea. And I think that the notion of being spoken down to is inane. But I personally don't really care too much about that because it is what it is, and they're going to do what they're going to do. I still think that what it comes down to is if they're not, because there's things to consider. Like, it's not just a simple case of go and play more songs, because there are things like the US Free Trade Agreement that does place restrictions on what commercial radio can play. And it's important to have a conversation that clearly defines and illustrates to people why that is. And then maybe out of that conversation, we can all work together, including Triple M, including the venues, including the bands. Everyone can work together to, okay, here's a playlist that you can plug on. Everyone can work together and plug a playlist on Spotify once a week, or everyone can get together and, there are ways and means to use the reach and leverage you've got, even just on social media posts. It doesn't have to be broadcast, but just promote these things on social media and away you go. And if people work together on those things, at least then you're a part of the community as opposed to being above the community.
And that's what shits me more than anyone. Like, if you travel around the world, that, like, you listen to radio stations and they will actually embrace their local bands, and they'll show a sense of pride.
Yeah.
And like Triple M, for one, that loves to sprout themselves as sort of everything Melbourne and all this kind of shit. But and that's cool, and they do a lot. I'm not saying they don't do anything, but this is obviously the music scene's our little bugbear, and rightly so.
Really,
but,
right now.
Yeah, but if you go, anyway, you go to the UK, you'll get a much broader, sense of music, and they'll talk local, do all this kind of stuff. You go to Seattle, they're really proud of their local music scene. You go all these places, and they really embrace it and push it. And I can't understand for the fucking life of me why they won't even try it. Well, I'd love to see Triple M say, okay, let's have a crack. Maybe these fucking degenerates on the bloody left here have something. Let's listen to these guys and let's give them fucking one song a week where they can do their thing,
6
and
months.
maybe the band will sell tickets, so which means maybe the venue will sell more beer, which means maybe there will be more fucking T-shirt sales, and God knows what. It just shits me that they won't embrace it.
But they will use the local band songs for promos.
Oh, no. Well, actually, that's dropped off too.
Yeah, but they use, for example, the last one, because I haven't listened to it for a long time because I've been working for myself, and so I get to put on whatever I want to put on with Spotify. But yeah, the Tequila Mockingbird one, the single they did, they used that as a promo only a matter of months ago. So it's like, you're happy to use these bands.
I called them when I was in that focus group, and I was in the room with buddy Sean Van Gogh and Mike Fitzpatrick, who were in the fucking room. And they had a mic in the middle, so it's all buddy recorded somewhere. And I said to him, I said, don't tell me you don't know who these bands are, because I know you do. He said, because I've heard Tequila Mockingbird. I've heard Jackson Firebird. I've heard these bands on promos. You've got the albums. You're not playing them. And then they sort of came back to me like with a couple of things that they were aware of the band. So it said things back to me, because I think I said Jackson Firebird. One of them, I think it was Fitzy, came back, oh yeah, Cock Rocket, it's a cool album. And I'm like, so you fucking know.
Yeah. Wow.
You know.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, bastards. It actually made it worse. You know?
And that's what's the real disappointing thing, is because they're willing to use it for commercial purposes, literally. But they won't even now give it a leg up in any way, shape, or form, even just on a social media post. And then they go and have the audacity to get offended when someone calls them on their shit. And then carry on because someone wears a T-shirt they don't like. Well, guess what? Get a new fucking employer.
It's interesting, Brendan, because I reckon the majority of people out there would not know that what you've just said actually happened. So, you know, and when you mention those two names that you mentioned, they are the head honchos of the station that organise playlists and have their say in a pretty big way. And you're telling, and this is the first I'm hearing about it, what you just said. No, I haven't. And so, you know, to hear that the head honchos know who these bands are and yet still will not play them with no reason at all as to why they wouldn't, then that fires me up even more. Boring.
But like, Higo was managing Tequila Mockingbird, and that Tequila Mockingbird album was fucking special, man.
It was good.
Yeah. And that had everything. It had marketability. It was a good rock album. It fucking had it all. Now, he was in the Brains Trust at the fucking thing at the time and still couldn't get it on air. I mean, what fucking hope.
And again, just for the record, we're not having a shot at individuals.
No.
To be undeniably clear, none of this was a shot at an individual or at anything else apart from the corporate entity that is Triple M, and as a consequence, Triple M's Hot Breakfast, who spruiked the idea to begin with and then shat on it publicly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. I don't...
That's my head.
Part of me wanted to continue with it, and then, you know, just said, well, why am I wasting my fucking time and energy?
Yeah, but at the same time, it wouldn't take much for him to go, you know what, we will go and go down a path that hasn't worked this time around. Well, maybe you look at it again in the future. Just to fucking shut the whole conversation down. If they just said that, it would have done it. But they've doubled down and had to defend it, and it's like, well, this is just stupid now because now it's the right reply, and it's going to go back and forth, I'm sure, after this. We'll see what happens on social media and whatever else have you. But whatever.
I'm staying out of it now. I'm done.
You've dropped your grenade and you're fucking off.
Oh, I'm done, man. Dude, I was sick of talking about them. I mean, the thing is, people say to me, Andrew, oh, you know, it's commercial radio. Therefore, it is a station that does commercials and plays music a little bit here and there. And you know, what it was. And when I was a kid, growing up, you know, it was Eon FM, and it was completely different then because it wasn't listed, a public company listed on the stock exchange. And they played Australian, we all know it, what they did for Australian bands, Eon FM and whatever it was even before then, you know, and that was great. And obviously things have changed now, but just because you're a radio station that plays commercials predominantly and you play music every now and again just to fill in the gaps doesn't mean that you can't support, you know, the local bloody industry that's there and thriving. It's like, why wouldn't you do that?
And the
We
worst
must be
part,
the country in the world that doesn't do it.
and the worst part is too that in a country that has such a lack of media diversity, and it's only getting worse because of the cuts to ABC and SBS and now Channel 31, Channel 44 looking like they're booted off the air. Because there's such a lack of media diversity, there's less and less avenues for an artist to get themselves heard in this country, in a nation that is so fucking big that to tour it, you're traveling the equivalent of Europe to do so.
Exactly.
It's an
ask any go any band that's gone overseas to tour, how much easier it is for them to play multiple countries, compared to touring the whole of Australia, and how hard it is, with 15-hour drives between cities.
Yeah.
And they'll get heard on local radio. They'll be driving to their gig, hearing their own shit.
Yeah.
On the radio, driving to their own gig. That will not happen here.
No, but the last time, like we saw it on that INXS show when they pulled over because they heard their song on the radio kind of thing. Imagine being one of the brains trust that actually gave that back to the people.
Yeah. And I can tell you from personal experience, like one of Dead Star Renegade, we got played on Triple M, I think twice, and both of those occasions it was fucking awesome. Like I was just almost in tears, to hear a song of mine that my band had written be played on a radio station that I've listened to since I was a kid, right through on FM, right through to today. And to hear that going out, it does so much for your confidence as a musician as well, because you're like, hey, these people acknowledge it and they're happy to play it. That's a fantastic thing for a band, and it still does happen now. I hear like bands say, "Oh yeah, we got played on Triple M and I really enjoyed it." Well, how many times did you get played? Once, mate. And yeah, that is brilliant. When you hear your song on the radio, it sends chills up you. It's fantastic. But it doesn't happen. Never. Like you get one crack, that's it.
What if it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even better. What they should do is on the Friday morning, instead of doing the whole, like they can't do the whole live from these desks, they could just do a phone interview or a Zoom interview. Even better, do a Zoom interview, because then you can do the video as well and release that on social media. Do a quick 5-minute chat with a band about, their new single. I know there's no gigs coming up, but you can tease an album. If there were gigs going on, you could tease gigs. Like just for 5 minutes, talk to a band, then play a song. You're talking about less than 10 minutes of actual time, because they're not going to play a song that's longer than 3.5 minutes anyway. So, and that would work wonders, because even if you don't have to play every band, because if that band gets a shot in the arm out of it, and then the next time they play, the 3 other bands on that bill get further exposure to from that flow and effect, then it would all help everyone anyway. I just don't understand the reluctance to even engage in a dialogue as opposed to shitting on it in public. I just, and doubling down on a nonsense defense.
I agree.
Yeah, it's rock and roll music, kids.
Welcome to the world. Okay, so enough of that shit. Let's talk about what we can do as a positive angle on this sort of stuff. I'm going to run through some ideas to kick this off, and then we can shoot the shit and see what happens, go back and forth. So what I want to do, and I've got to work out how to do it, this is why we're testing this Zoom setup now, is to help me find a way to make this work, is I want to interview places like Bendigo Hotel, Whole Lot of Love, get them on Zoom like we're doing now, and just talk to them about the challenges of running their business right now, what they're doing to help themselves get out there and generally spread awareness. And no, we're not going to be able to broadcast, or potentially not going to be able to broadcast it on television, at least not for much longer anyway, as the way things stand now. And so we can at least use our online presence. So if you're watching these sorts of things and you like this sort of stuff, then please share on social, because it can be pretty fucking important to us in the future. But I want to talk to the venues. I want to talk to talk to bands about, because I know that, for example, Divine Ascension have a new video coming up soon. So I want to talk to them platform and get them to do things. We can do interviews with artists both locally and internationally to sort of spread the word about the music we love. So there's that sort of concept going on. I think we can also look into doing things like, I've had an idea for a short amount of time now to do like every Monday morning or something, release a playlist of 45 minutes worth of like an album duration of local band songs that are new and stuff. So every Monday morning, just release a new playlist and update it every week to showcase new bands, new songs and stuff. And like, again, if you're watching this out there, then give us your feedback on this sort of stuff too. And any thoughts you've got, any suggestions, then go for it. But those are some ideas that I've had to utilize what presence we do have, because we do have more than a lot of other people do. So we can do something with it, not as much as a Triple M could do, but we can at least do something. And I think that it's going to sound really hypocritical to say it now, but I think the less time we spend worrying about Triple M and any other network, Triple J included, especially now that they've proven that even when they float the idea, they're not going to back it up. I think any we would spend on them, we now need to purely spend on promoting things online ourselves anyway. And this means that bands, I would suggest the bands even stop trying to go to Triple M, stop trying to go to Triple J, work together as a network, to work together, to share each other's shit on social media and build. If we can't build a physical local scene like the old Seattle thing, then I reckon what we should do is build a digital scene, because that's what we can do right now. But that's what I'm thinking off the top of my head with these sorts of ideas. But what have you guys, if I don't know if that sparks anything for you guys or what you've got in your head already, but what have you guys got to say?
No, complete opposite for me. I think we round up the troops and we bombard Triple M with bullshit. Every single one of us. We just, because everyone's got time in their hands, let's just be fucking relentless. Just badger them. Because they've got nothing to do. They've got nowhere to hide.
We did try that. It didn't work. We ended up getting things blacklisted, which was fucking even better.
We can do it again.
It'd be fun. Won't accomplish anything.
And then as soon as it's lifted, we hire a flatbed truck. We get a band to fucking play out front of their fucking studio until we get arrested. Let's do it.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I think we should do that.
But we should film everything, document it, because it'll go nuts on social media.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, Brendan. Yeah, my 100.
What we can do is borrow all of your fucking masks, Brendan.
I
have a collection there, which he's going to go through now. We can borrow all of his masks, and then as we're getting carted away, we can pull them off and do the big reveal after the All-Star band gets ripped off the stage. The flatbed. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea, but like from my perspective, right? And Brendan, I know you're in a similar position. I can't take you seriously, Brendan. I know you're in a similar position with your band, right? But my band, Sonic Circus. There's a plug. Sonic Circus.
The album's good. It's coming soon, and the album's fucking great, and you're gonna love it when you hear it.
Yeah, so we're putting out an album soon in a few months, and I can tell you right here, right now, I'm not sending any of that music to Triple M. I'm not going to send it because there is absolutely no point in sending it because
not anymore.
Now.
Well, yeah.
What you should do is make the album cover that photo.
Yeah, I've been completely blacklisted now. But even if I wasn't blacklisted, I wasn't going to send it there anyway because I just do not see the point in wasting my time and energy on trying to get airplay on Triple M. And I know, Brendan, you've got an album coming out soon as well. I don't know how what your thought is around that, but yeah.
Mundbowl from Triple M, Brendan.
I wouldn't even know how to send it to Triple M, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'd probably be out the front, throw a few copies in the lift. Fuck. I mean,
they're not going
to just
through the door.
Radio friendly anyway.
Well, the thing is, they're not going to play it. It doesn't matter how good your music is, right? They're not going to play it. It's as simple as that. If they do play it, they might play it once on that Sunday night thing you mentioned before, Brendan, which I don't know what they do because I don't listen to it. But, they may play it one song then. And like I said before, that is awesome. When they play your music, it's fantastic.
She doesn't
it's I don't know what he's doing, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What's the point in doing it? Just there's no point.
No.
Not only that, but
no, they're not going to play it. And even if they did, it would probably cost me money. I would probably have to pay them to get on that fucking show.
And the money you'd spend on that, you'd be better off putting into Facebook ads anyway.
Yeah.
Better bang for your buck, literally. Like it would. And I think that what we can do, hopefully, out of this is to maybe in some way, shape or form down the line, we can build enough momentum if we all work together, which is going to be challenging because not everyone likes to work together in Melbourne, apparently. But if we could make that a thing, that'd be great, especially at the moment. But if we were able to do that and then build a scene, you could actually encourage people, if we could educate people, because we all have Facebook in the age, and the demographic age of Facebook is much older now than it used to be.
Yeah.
People that are listening to Triple M are most likely the age bracket that is most predominantly on Facebook today, as an example. So if you're able to utilize Facebook wisely and work together and get things sort of not trending, but, you know, get things moving a bit of traction on social media wise, then with everyone sharing and commenting and doing a unified front setup, then the people that would listen to Triple M because they're on Facebook as a platform, for example, would then probably check some of this stuff out, and then we could hopefully drive some of the listenership away from the nonsense that is the commercial radio in this country, including Triple J in that boat as well, and get them to do things like find playlists that we would put together, or that like Brad from Massive has put together that new rock playlist as well. Like there's a few playlists out there that are already pretty damn good. Like Blaze did the Hottest 100 one as well. Like there's some really good playlists.
Virginia from Lily just did a really good one too, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's heaps out there in that regard, and if we could all just work together a bit, we could and stop wasting. Because I think this is the definitive nail in the coffin of ever having any hope of Triple M helping at all. I think this is. If there was no full stop until now, this is the moment that we all just should just turn our back on that station. And I'm not saying that the tradies that listen to it shouldn't listen to it. They can listen to whatever they want, and that's not the problem. But what we do now is make as much noise as we can in the online world to say, you know what, there is an alternative. You don't have to listen to that. You can listen to something else. You can have, you know, more than your sausage, your mash, and your 3 veg. You can have something a bit different, and who knows, if you try it once, you might just fucking like it.
So basically, it's my fault for getting my hopes up.
No, because they shouldn't have set anything to begin with. Once you set an expectation, that's when it's on you, not.
And there's heaps of people out there, you know, that no, they know this. They know this. So it's about how do we, you know, how do we engage those people that, you know, that might listen to Triple M and whatever, but also at the same time know that there are a shitload of local bands out there that are really good, you know.
And we're not just
how do we
too, just we're not just saying that. They are fucking brilliant.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I think that the local scene at the moment is as good as it's ever been. Ever.
That Follow the Leader single is fucking, it's a belter. Like, that, and it's perfect for radio as well. Like,
but it doesn't get a look in. And no one can tell us why.
And I'm not talking, and we're not talking about getting black metal played on Triple M Breakfast. We're talking about some really commercially viable stuff here. You know, hook, melody, a bit of a riff, a good beat. Like all the ingredients are there that if you like things, anything like Triple M, this is a thing that shat me to tears. They did an entire playthrough of the Gigaton album from Pearl Jam. Like you can devote that to the fucking new album from Pearl Jam. It's like, you can't play one song a week from a local band. Like this is why we need to just turn our back on the network, because they will do things to suck you in, and then they'll fucking stomp on you in a heartbeat. And I think that should now result, because we can't ring them, we can't bombard them. I know that you might want to, Brendan. We tried it before, it didn't work. And so I think that what we should do now is just not give them our listenership. We should just turn it off.
Backwards. That's the problem. They haven't even moved slightly forward. They've actually gone backwards in the last 3 years. They've actually gone older. They've essentially just embraced, you know, like Gold's playlist,
and from a purely
a couple of new tracks from the ones that suit them, because they'll hang their head on something like the Teskey Brothers and all this kind of shit, which is all fucking wonderful. And nothing against those guys; they're fine too. They're good musicians, but you know they're signed before they're getting played on Triple M. Yeah, it's a vehicle. You know,
I remember when everyone used to get in such a fucking high because of like when Silverchair got discovered through Triple J. And now Triple J don't do that anymore for the rock bands. And Triple M are now trying to compete directly with Gold 104, and Gold 104 are doing it back to them by taking on more sport content. So those two networks are competing in the same space. So Triple M have a really unique opportunity, and I've said this before, to do something different from a purely business point of view that would attract potentially newer, like imagine the Deadlips and getting them on the radio station and attracting the university student demographic that comes with them, because we've seen them play, and that's the demographic they bring with them when they play live, and they draw a crowd. So
get the deadlifts and to get them on, and they draw their audience in with them, and you suck them in because you're willing to play some younger stuff that is not getting played anywhere else in the country right now. You get a chance to be at, and we can't compete with Triple M on a pure numbers and reach point of view. So they could really just be the hammer on the anvil, leading the charge on this thing and really breaking bands in this country and then potentially to the world. But they sit there and somehow refuse to do so and double down on going older.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
But let's just make it clear, right through this, that this whole conversation is in no way directed at any one person that works at the station. It's not you. Seriously, it's not you. It's the company you work for. Okay? I just want to make that
this
really
is the guy who works for one of the big four banks.
Yeah, I know.
correct. It's not
those that are self-employed.
it's not any individual person that is presenting shows or
really
answering the phone, or it's not you people. We appreciate everyone needs a job, everyone needs to work, and where you work doesn't matter. But the company you work for is open to criticism.
And I think
It's
that's
as simple as that.
If they're a publicly listed thing, then fuck them. Like, as far as, and where I would get criticism, we're a community TV thing that doesn't get paid. So we're open.
And we still got criticism.
Yeah, we still cop it, and we're going to cop it.
Shit we copped over the years.
Yeah.
We've copped a heap of shit.
Yeah, people should see some of the inbox.
I did like the tweet you got though, the Jimmy Van Zero talent.
Oh, that was some of it's clever.
Yes, that was good. I did for that. I liked
I'm
it.
the guy that's never seen you sing though, obviously.
Yeah, but this
don't
is
care.
fucking knows.
It's probably true, mate. Probably true.
It ain't.
on Minecraft, which is interesting at the moment. But anyway,
What?
Jody's playing Minecraft on the PlayStation. So it's
God.
Grow up, Jody.
good luck with that. She married me.
I know, we were there.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I think that as a general thing to get back onto the topic at hand, I think that what we need to do now is generally not spend any more time on this. I think this should be like the final thing we ever talk about that station.
Bang the nuts off and Andrew.
The final word, apart from the social interaction that we may or may not get out of doing this video. I'm not sure how that'll go, but yeah, I'd like to see that.
You should definitely tag Triple M Hot Breakfast in.
That'll go really well.
No, seriously, you should. Because I seriously doubt any of the fuckers would ever watch it. But if they do,
not one this long.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never.
And for the record, just one more time, if they did want to engage in a meaningful conversation without having a shit fight, just actually let's have a chat.
Yeah,
I want that. They won't do it. I guarantee they won't do it, but I would love to do it on the record. Get on the record with us. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
And the thing is, you know, we're putting this out there. We're not going to slam them and try to make them look like morons.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. We just want to have a conversation so that people out there know what is going on and the reasons why. And I think that
it's not as cut and dried as just doing this and that. There are severe financial considerations to make, but let's get it all on the record. Let's get it out there because people aren't stupid. Let's talk.
Yeah. The offer's always there, isn't it?
Yeah. It has been for years now. But
Yeah.
they won't engage apart from when you wear a T-shirt that pisses one individual off. So,
can I show you my T-shirt for tonight?
yes, you can. Please do. Please do.
Move forward. Oh, getting offended. Show you.
Yeah, okay, here we go. 3.
Getting offended.
Listen to that vibrato.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't know. Do we have any final words? I think we've rambled on.
No, I think we've fucking driven this into the ground.
Yeah, I think it's a dead horse now.
I'm going to follow up my clips. This is Coldplay with Yellow.
This is you too with Yellow.
Oh,
Lemon.
Oh, they actually played that the other day, like, whilst this was all going on. I'm like, if you've got the time to fucking wheel that piece of shit out, something is wrong. That is going to be like one of the worst things ever committed to
I reckon that
being
whole album was a
recorded.
joke. Seriously, it was committed.
I agree. I reckon that album was like, let's churn out any old shit we can and see if the fuckers are dumb enough to buy it.
And they did.
Fuck, that's a bad album. And that song particularly.
That was a single. What the fuck?
Oh. And what was that other one that was that? Don't sleep, don't talk, don't fuck.
Oh, I've forgotten that one. Fuck.
What the fuck?
Oh.
What a shit band.
And their carbon footprint too.
Political wanker and a fucking delay pedal. That's all they are.
I do love their early albums. I do.
Joshua Tree is a great album. Joshua.
Yeah, the first few albums are fantastic.
I used to. I'm too deeply scarred now.
Yeah.
It's not me two, it's you two.
Yeah. The U2 movement.
Interesting
How the U2
times.
inspires certain movements, but anyway.
Interesting times.
What a good way to wrap this up, I reckon. So
yeah, I think that was a good move.
I think we've jumped the shark now. I think it's time to move along. If you stuck with us for this long during this particular video and you haven't just scrolled through as people want to do, and we've actually managed to give you some entertainment, then cool. Thank you for watching. And out there, if you've got any thoughts or suggestions or feedback, then by all means, please do give us those as well, because unlike certain networks, we are open to feedback.
Let us know. I mean, are we wrong? Are we out of line here?
Dinosaurs anyway, really, aren't we?
Tell us what you think, and do you want to get involved in trying to push some local bands? I mean, we've all got nothing to do. Yeah, I mean, give the local band some love. I seriously believe, like, am I older than you, Brendan? I think I am.
Yeah, you're up there.
Yeah, I'm older, and I'm enough to have lived through. I was actually thinking about it last night.
Tell us about the depression.
Pandemic. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit.
Yeah, lucky to live through the Spanish flu. No. No, right.
Say hi to a grasshopper.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky enough to kind of live through the Eon FM days right through to now.
Yeah,
and I've followed that whole thing that's gone on. And yes, things are different because of financial, stock market, like listing companies, whatever. That I get it, I understand that. But at the same time, this was a radio station that just lived and breathed Australian bands and pushed them and broke them. And it's so sad that it doesn't happen anymore. And all these really good bands, and I think that the scene now is just as, I do think it's as good as, it's definitely as good as it's ever been, I think, right? But people don't know about it, and that's because everyone just I don't know what you can go and talk about the Americanization of Australian culture. You could go down that whole fucking path, right?
It's a different rabbit hole.
But we don't.
Yeah,
we'd be here all night. But that definitely has things to do with it, and the free trade agreement and whatever else. But I think that the scene right now is just as good as it's ever been, and it's so sad that the only way that all these bands can get anywhere is to get on a plane, sell all their gear, say goodbye to their families, and have to fuck off overseas and live over there and try to make it. It's so disheartening for everyone that's in a band.
Spin it so that the public crack the shits when they come back after a decade and take that long to play shows back in their hometown when they got no fucking support here to begin with.
That's right. And it's a sad situation. That's the only word I can think of for it is sad,
Airborne can't get played.
Spot on.
Airborne come here to support what they were going to call Iron Maiden. Was that going to be the bill?
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. That's when they play Australia, when they're supporting an international act. Okay, and this is Airborne, one of our finest exports. There's a few out there at the moment, actually, that are in.
And they pulled off the bench to play fucking Download last year.
Yeah.
They're not cancelled. They bring in Airborne, and they spanked it.
Oh,
everyone was, fuck, it was good.
Yeah.
I'd never seen them live before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I'd never seen them live.
I saw them at was it the Hyde Park Hotel in Perth on their first album tour. The place held like 150 people.
Wow.
That'd be cool.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and I was blown away. They were almost the best band on the bill.
Yeah, they're up there for me. They were in my top 3 for the night.
Well,
I love.
this is another thing that New Zealand does a lot better than Australia, apart from our politics
Yeah.
at the moment. They support their local artists. Look at Alien Weapon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not just them. Like
No, they
the
do all
first
of
time
it.
I went to New Zealand with work and I tuned, I think the station's actually called The Rock, like Arrow.
Yeah, the
Q
Rock.
or
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. And they were playing interesting, diverse rock music. They're not, still commercially viable, but they're
I think that's how
playing.
things like 8 Foot Sativa and that got out there as well. Like bands
Yeah.
like that got through that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, they were playing that weird, was it, I think Disturbed or, oh shit, the song's going to lose me. I'm going to look like a dick.
Which one?
Just a really,
Down
one
with
of
which-
their earlier covers, but it was really interesting. They did like a Genesis song or some shit.
Land of Confusion.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And the first time I heard that was like New Zealand commercial radio, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. Like, this is interesting. And some metal version of Careless Whisper and stuff on commercial radio, like it wouldn't happen here.
over there than we do here.
It would not happen here.
No.
Not a chance.
It's interesting.
Cheers.
Sad.
Yes, but I think we should wrap this one up so that people aren't falling asleep.
We probably
If they're already tuned out by now at this point in time.
How long have we been going?
Hey?
How long have we been going?
I have no idea. I think about an hour or so now.
Doesn't have a timer.
It flew by. I haven't got a timer at the moment, so I don't know for sure. But I'll
Just
tell you.
until we continued across the screen, and we'll start again.
I nearly finished a bottle of wine.
I might move to the wine, I think.
Yeah, that's. I've got that
messed them.
Sydney ready to go, so that's all right.
Good.
It's a public holiday tomorrow, so whatever. But
yeah.
Yes, but no. Look, thank you to everyone watching, and thank you to you two for jumping in and doing this test and giving us your thoughts, and for jumping on Twitter and giving us something to talk about. Stirring up a hornet's nest, so to speak.
It's you. It's you.
Down the bottom there is Jimmy. If you, Jimmy was down the bottom as we're watching this. But yeah, but it's
I'm not going to more, Andrew. I'm not doing it anymore.
You say that,
do
but you
it.
know you will. You
It was
can't
good.
help it. You're like a fucking bug at the bug zapper. That's you. Like you just cannot help yourself. And you know that.
That's good. That's a very good description, actually. It is like a light
The
going.
bug zapper.
I've got to get closer. I've got to get closer. What's there? Oh! Dead.
Quick, wrap it up. Wrap it up. We'll do
All
another
right,
one.
on that note, time for us to go. Thank you for tuning in to this particular episode. I think that we're going to call this one of our deep cuts. I think this is going to fall into the deep cut category from what we were talking about before.
Should be an episode.
I'm sure people are bleeding through their arteries watching this content right now. So thank you to those of you out there watching this one. And again, as always, leave your thoughts on this as a conversational piece. I know it's a longer piece of video to sit through or audio to listen to, whatever you're doing with this, but hopefully it's been like we've defended a particular stance, but I'd like to think at the end of it all, we had some ideas that are at least a start of something. So let's work together a bit more and try and get something positive to come out of this nonsense as it stands now.
Yep.
But we've set the record straight, hopefully. If we haven't, well, then I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But thank you both for joining me tonight in this little video. And we will hopefully see you all again soon if this comes out all right in post-production. We'll see what happens.
Drink up.
Rock on.
There we go. Seamless.
It worked.
Get back down, you clown.
Ah, come on.
You ruined it. I want you to be... Yeah, there we go. There you go. Now I'm going to get a bit higher, and now I'm going to take a still of this. I'm going to stick the old grog picture next to your... It's going to be great for social. Oh.
Dear.
Mr. Summers.
You just need the
No,
hat.
should.
He's off to... Where's your...
Oh, there you go.
that did it.
Mr.
Where's
Meldrum.
that black and white hat you were wearing for the filming the other day?
Oh, man, I've got it if you want me to put it on. I've got my horse head too.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit, that too.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, we can drag out some shit.
Yeah, you can.
Give me a minute. I got that.
Yeah.
I got that. Do you like red wine, Andrew? I don't think I've ever seen you drink it.
Yeah. Love red wine, mate. There's a
Yeah. Oh, have a look at this.
here's one a bit earlier.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, there you go.
And that's great. You should wear that on stage, Brendan.
Yeah, I should.
Fucking great.
Give yourself an alter ego.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better.
It looks like a Reagan alien.
Dude, if you wore that on stage one night, that would be fucking brilliant.
Can you imagine sweating inside that?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine how ripe it'd be afterward.
Mm. Well, after I did that drum video the other day with the fucking thing on. Oh. That's big. You're out of control.
Oh, here we go.
You got more than me, you weirdo.
That's a compliment coming from you, Jimmy.
None of those will work.
I thought I had a fair bit of shit. Jesus.